Hi, I'm Steve Phillips from Strike King Europe, and I've got some very exciting news for you guys. We've been over to America and we've picked some of the best bass fishing lures that those guys in the States have got to offer, and we're bringing them over to Europe. Now, we've picked these lures not because of their bass fishing qualities, but because they're going to catch loads of zander, perch and pike over here in the UK. The lures that we've picked are going to be perfect for our waters and our styles of fishing. And one of the most exciting ones that we've come across so far is the Strike King Caffeine Shad. We're going to run you through that now and why it's such a special lure. Now just take a look at the Caffeine Shad. It's kind of a halfway house between a standard shad lure and a fluke tail, so kind of like a worm shape at the end. Now you might think, looking at that, it's not really going to have much action in it because it hasn't got a paddle tail. Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't need it. It's a fairly unique shape in terms of you've got your shad body at the front and then you go to this bulbous tail at the end. What that shape does is when this lure is in the water and being retrieved back, it gives it an amazing side-to-side action. So it's almost like a swim bait. You can just retrieve it and instead of like a paddle tail, the paddle will just go in the back end, this thing will push side to side, snaking around. And it gives it a fairly unique action for a soft lure. Now the reason for that is the contours. The tail is almost the opposite shape to the main body area. So you've got a bulbous section at the bottom, and then on the top of the tail they've got a bulbous section on the top. So as the water slides over the top of it, pushes it around all over the place. It's a really, really cool action. Now cast this thing out and the first thing you're going to notice is just how heavy it is. The Caffeine Shad has a real high salt content, and what that does is two things. It gives it a bit of weight, but it also makes it very, very pliable. It's really very, very soft. When a fish hits the lure, we've had some pike today and they've done that, they'll hold on to it for a little bit longer because it'll feel more natural, it'll be softer, and if you've got it rigged like this on an offset hook, it also allows it to collapse a little bit more easily in the fish's mouth. And those few milliseconds or whatever that the fish hold on a bit longer for will give you time to strike, set the hook. One of the biggest questions you're going to ask about this is, why the hell is it called a caffeine shad? Well, the reason for that is because of the scent that's on the lure. A lot of the Strike King lures come with a coffee or a caffeine scent impregnated into the soft plastic, and there's a good reason for that. What that does is it overpowers any kind of oils or any scent that you have on your hands that will go onto the lure when you touch it, and it makes it just more natural, mainly for the fish for taste. When they get near the lure and get their mouths around it, it gives them that confidence, I would say, as opposed to that kind of little scent they might get from your hands. Say if you're a smoker, if you've got a bit of nicotine on that, they can smell that, or if you've been touching something, say you've got some gel on your hands or whatever, the caffeine scent on this will overpower that and give it a more natural scent and a more natural taste for the fish when they strike. One of my favourite things about the Caffeine Shad is just how versatile it is. This thing can be fished right through the water column. So if you fish it just on an offset hook, so weightless and weedless, you cast this out, you can work this right up to the surface. It will cast really well because of the salt content, so it's a nice heavy lure, but it doesn't sink that fast. So you can just work it and it'll wriggle along underneath the surface, or you can put the rod tip down a little bit and it will go, you know, up to about a foot underneath the water. In the spring or early autumn, when the pike are maybe in the slightly shallower water, when the water's a little bit warmer and they're more likely to come up and feed on the prey fish, that can work really, really well. But also if you want to go down further in the water column, you can fish them with a weighted offset hook with a belly weight, which will give them that little bit more of a drop. It also keeps them weedless, and it, again, very, very versatile approach. Or you can fish them with a corkscrew jig head, a small jig head, and a stinger. So that works to give them a very, very lifelike action, just because of how soft this plastic is, with just a corkscrew head in one end and a stinger somewhere down the body. This lure is superbly versatile and will fish all throughout the water column, fish in whatever kind of water you throw it into, and will catch you lots of predators. Strike King do the Caffeine Shad in a number of sizes, but the one we're bringing to Europe, because we think it's the most applicable, it's a 12.5 centimetre size. And we're going to be bringing that lure in 5 different colours, so 5 options for you to try. The 5 colours available will be the Ghost Shad, the Green Pumpkin Sapphire, watermelon red and black, green pumpkin and siren. The Ghost Shad offers a very traditional colour, roachy colour, greys and whites, and is semi-transparent, so it's a brilliant colour that people will be very used to in other lures. So the green pumpkin sapphire, the watermelon red and black and the green pumpkin are all pretty much the same colour. They're a dark green, but they have different flecks of glitter in there, and believe me, that's a small difference, but it can make a real difference on the day, depending on what colours the fish are keyed into, what prey fish the predators are keyed into. So it's worth changing those around, but overall they'll just be very, very good fish catching colours. And the wild card out of the pack is the siren, which is a bright yellow colour, perfect for a change bait in your lure box if they're following on the more drab colours and you just want to rile them up and get them striking, give that one a go. So there you are. If you're after something a little bit different in your lure box, something with a different action, different kinds of colours and a different scent, give the Caffeine Shad from Strike King a go. It's going to be available in all good tackle shops very, very soon, first quarter of 2021. Look out for it, give it a go, let us know how you get on.